My name is Lee Rader, and I've actually been a cosmetologist, a master cosmetologist, for going on 23 years now. And so my primary focus was always on, the everyday woman, more hair focused. I live in a very small area in Wisconsin, and so I always learned what was trending as far as what people wanted to get from me. So I'm an extension expert. I'm into skincare. I was a master colorist, all different cutting techniques. I mean, you name it. Over the years, being in the industry as long as I have, I just really did learn as much as I could. So with that being said, I don't know how many years ago it was now, maybe about 4 years ago, 5 years, somewhere like that. Some of my brides started asking for airbrush makeup, and nobody in my area was doing airbrush makeup at all. And I had always really been into makeup. I started getting into makeup more, probably like more serious, I would say probably about 7-8 years ago, and started taking different classes in Chicago, doing different trainings. And I actually came across the cosmetics line, Motives Cosmetics. And what intrigued me about the line was that it's a totally customizable product. So we have the custom blend foundations, which you can see behind me. We have liquid and we have powder. And as a salon owner at the time, that was really intriguing to me because I was always looking for services and products that my clients could only get from me. Over the years, I saw all the professional products start ending up in the stores. Whereas, when I started hair 22 years ago, we had professional products and we had, drugstore, store products. And over the years, I saw, diversion and whatever it was. That's a whole nother subject. I saw our professional products start ending up in the stores. So when I found this makeup line, I am sensitive. I have extremely sensitive skin. I cannot use almost everything that I've ever tried. I break out. I have reactions from. But when I came across this line, it is mineral based. It is free of bismuth oxychloride. So that is a mineral that a lot of people actually have issues with as far as causing irritation or even causing flashback with photography. And it's fully customizable. So we can formulate foundations to not only match the color of the skin, but we can also put different skin treatments in depending on their skin type. We can control the coverage, the finish, you name it, it's customizable. And it changed really my business. It brought our salon to a whole new level. So mainly now what I do is I sold my salon. I am semi-retired, I guess you could call it. And now my focus is, and my passion is working with other professionals. I work with salons, I work with makeup artists, I work with even people that want to become makeup artists. I love to mentor and train them just because I love giving back to the industry. I have a passion for the industry. So that's just like a little bit of my background, just a really quick synopsis of, where I'm coming from, just so you guys know. So with that being said, this customizable makeup line, and yes, they have prepackaged products as well that, are already, formulated, but the custom blend line, we really focused on educating just on how to make foundations over the years. So I became a national educator with the company, I don't know, maybe 9 months ago. Never thought I would educate. I never had a want to do that, but I feel like over the years it just sort of happens because I have so much knowledge, I have so much passion, and I just want to help other people. I want to change their lives like mine has been changed. So that was sort of just a natural progression. Not one that really likes to be in front of people, but doing videos like this makes it a little bit easier, and I love stepping out of my comfort zone, so bear with me if I kind of talk in circles. I tend to do that sometimes. But what's really exciting is we actually just came out with some new additives. Hi, Christina. We came out with some new additives for the Custom Blend line. And we're also coming out with a recipe book that should be out any day now, within the next week or so, I'm hoping. But over the years, a lot of us pros, we actually would share what we were doing with each other across the field, because being a colorist, being a makeup artist, being a creative person, I love to mix things. So not only were we mixing foundations, we were also mixing, you know, blushes, bronzers, you know, lip stuff, eyeshadows. We were all doing all that. And one of the other things we were doing was our own custom airbrush formulas. But now that's all going to be in this recipe book. In fact, what I'm sharing with you is in the recipe book. This is not something that I made up. It's just something that we've all shared and, you know, what we've all done. Hi, Denise. Hi, Laura. So I have tried, I think, every single airbrush formula out there. I tried Ket, Denier. I've tried all of them. They're fine. They're okay. But when I started making my own, I can control exactly like the finish that I want, and I can control what's in it. I know exactly what's in it. I know that they're not going to have a reaction on their skin. I know it's going to photograph well. I've perfected this formula. It's what I use on my brides, and I absolutely love it. I guess because I like to mix my own things, I like to control what's in it. I like to control what it's going to look like, and it's flawless, very easy to use. So, so yeah, that's kind of where this all came from. So the other, you know, there's other formulas out there. Great. If you love using what you're using, that's perfectly fine. But if you do already use Custom Blend, or if you're interested in it, what I mix up costs me a small fraction of the price of what I'd be paying if I would buy the formula. And I always have my Custom Blend with me, so it's there. I can make it, you know, the night before I have a wedding, no problem. So airbrush makeup. Now, a lot of people, they're like, well, airbrush is no different than regular makeup, and I do regular makeup on brides. You know, I don't believe in the whole airbrush thing. You know, it's a trend. Brides, they were calling my salon and they wanted airbrush makeup, and nobody else was doing it. I kind of ran with that. What happened with that then is I had to train other people how to do it, because I was the only one that was doing it, and I couldn't keep up with it. So doing airbrush makeup is just spraying it out of the airbrush gun. It's just a different way of applying the makeup. I can get the same results with putting traditional makeup on. It's actually faster for me at this point to just airbrush my brides, just because I can whip out my airbrush and just do it really fast. So it does save me a little bit of time to do it that way. But is there a better, you know, is one better than the other? Not necessarily. But if there's a need for it, you know, as a business person, I always wanted to do that. So I can get either makeup to last as long as it needs to. In fact, all my brides, you know, usually see them really early in the morning at like 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, and their makeup's going to last until, you know, they take it off at night, or in some cases they call me the next morning and didn't have time to take it off, and they're like, oh my gosh, my makeup still looks amazing. So this makeup line in general, everything that we do is going to make it last, okay? So it's not that this is going to last longer. It's not that it's going to wear better. You can get it either way. So let's get right into it. There are different types of airbrush makeup on the market. There's alcohol-based, there's water-based, there's polymer-based, there's silicone-based, there's all different bases. So what we do is like a mineral water base, but we mix it with things that make it to last. So, hi Natalia. You can actually use the liquid blend system that I have behind me. You can use that to mix with the airbrush gun, or in the airbrush gun. And the way that you do that is you can actually formulate whatever you would do for their custom blend. You would just use, or you would leave out the additives. So you just want to use their bases and the toners to get the right tone. Leave all the skincare additives and the finishes and all that out. Just use the bases and the toners. And then with that, all you have to do is mix half of their blend, so half of their blend from their bottle, with half of our setting spray, 10 years younger. Half and half, you can actually just put that right into your airbrush machine, and you can spray that out. What I prefer to use, especially because when I do it, I'm doing it on special occasion makeup, or brides, that kind of thing. I actually use our mineral powder, okay? So people are like, well, how do you mix mineral powder into an airbrush formula? Well, because these are pure minerals and they're micropulverized, they are extremely silky smooth. We don't have any talc in them. We don't have any additives in them. So when mixed with our liquid base, when I say base, I'm not talking about makeup base. I'll tell you what's in our liquid stuff that we mix it with. It actually dissolves. But what I love about it is when you spray it out of the airbrush gun, it actually dries just a really nice powdery finish. It's very light. Everything that we have is very pigmented, so you don't need to put a lot on. And I love the finish of the powder. So, this is something that you would probably have to kind of just see what you like best. It really comes down to preference. I'm going to tell you what I do and what I like, and then you can just start and play and have fun with it. Hi, Lynn. So I'm going to talk to you guys like I'm going to kind of talk like, okay, you know about Custom Blend, but I'm also going to add some things in there for the people that don't know about Custom Blend. And then I'm also going to talk, because I know I have some clients that might be tuning in, because I have a lot of regular clients with makeup as well. So if you are a client and you have a custom blend and you want to airbrush your face, yes, we can definitely formulate a formula for you where you can take it home and airbrush your face. Do I airbrush my face every day? No, I don't. I actually do not have any makeup on this side. I have makeup on this side. This is regular makeup. I'm going to do a little airbrushing for you guys today because I think you wanted to see that. But this is kind of a pain to clean up. And if you don't clean out good, it gets clogged. So you have to be careful with that. Now, if you want to airbrush your face every day, we can make a formula for you. You can do that. If you want to just airbrush your makeup once in a while, yeah, we can definitely do that too. But from now on, I'm going to talk more from a professional standpoint, like what you can use on your clients if you would like to do what I'm doing. So let's start with our liquid formula. So what we do is we mix this liquid formula. I just took a bottle like this. I don't even know how many ounces this is. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be exact. And what I did was I laid it on its side and I took a ruler and I marked where half was. I just made a little mark with my marker. And then I divided that up into 3 more parts, okay? So I put like just marks to even this all out. Does not have to be perfect. Then what you're going to do is you're going to get what's called glycerin. Glycerin is like kind of an emollient. This I actually got at a craft store. It's used to do something with like cake decorating. So it is completely edible. It is gentle on the skin. Glycerin is in a lot of like soaps and things like that. So it makes it gives more like a slip to the product. It's an emollient. All right. Hi, Amber. So glycerin. Glycerin is going to be your number 1 ingredient. The second ingredient is going to be our setting spray. 10 years younger makeup setting spray. This stuff, it actually says on the bottle, makes everything last 16 hours. So I actually mix this in with our airbrush blend. And the third thing that you're going to need is distilled water. So you can get a gallon of distilled water at the grocery store. Distilled water. So I'm going to take the bottle, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill up to the first mark with glycerin. Okay, so just fill the glycerin up to the first mark. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill up to the second mark with 10 years younger setting spray. So you've got 1 part of the glycerin, 1 part of the 10 years younger setting spray, And then I fill 2 lines up with the distilled water. So there's 2 parts distilled water. Shake that up, because it does kind of separate a little bit when you have it sitting for a while. And this has been mixed up. I just keep this mixed up in my kit. Actually says airbrush mix on it with a marker. So once you have that mixed up, you can either make them. Where do you buy glycerin? You can get it at the craft store. You can get it at, you know, drugstores. It's used for making a lot of different things. So, like I said, I got it at a craft store. I think you could probably get it at Joann Fabrics or Michael's, you know, a place like that. So go ahead and shake that up. So you can either meet with your bride ahead of time, or if they're already a client, you can go ahead and make them a custom blend powder. And then again, just do the bases and the toners that we have. So toners like lapis and amethyst, these are just ground up minerals, right? Or if you're not going to, you know, do that for the bride, like I love doing custom blends for my brides. I love meeting with them prior because I want to get them on like a good skincare routine. And I want to make sure that they're using good makeup, because it's going to make my job a lot easier when I meet with them, when I, you know, do their makeup, because if they're using yucky stuff, you're going to see it in their skin. Okay, could I repeat the calibration? Yep. So you're going to do 1 part glycerin, 1 part of the 10 Years Younger setting spray, and then you're going to do 2 parts of the distilled water. Now for those of you that already are working with Custom Blend, we have this Custom Blend manual that was just released in January or February. I don't even know what day. In February at our convention. This you can actually, you have access as someone who uses motives. You can just print it off with all of our materials. And it's actually, this is in this manual. Everything that I'm teaching you now was put in here. And then once our recipe book comes out, there'll be some more recipes for more like the eyeshadows and things like that. Okay, so if you can meet with them, and all my brides, like I love them to have a custom blend, because most of them say, oh my gosh, this is amazing. My skin hasn't felt this good ever, you know, because it's healing to the skin. These are minerals. There's all the other, you know, chemicals and crud is not in there. So if they have a custom blend, great. If they don't, what I do is I just take our base colors, and for our powder, we just have our light base, we have our medium base, and we have our dark base. Because for powders, we only have 3 bases, and then we have, of course, all of our different toners and additives. So I will just mix up the bases in little bottles. Okay, so you can get these little bottles, again, at the craft store as well, or Motives actually sells these little sample bottles, so you can mix it in here as well. I get these bottles because they have the squirt top, and I think I got these at Michael's or, you know, someplace like that. So if you have a wedding, I would actually recommend mixing this up the night before, just to make sure that all the minerals are dissolved and that it, you know, it's just all dissolved. So I just keep a medium or a light, a medium, and a dark base mixed up. No other toners or anything in there. Now, if you do want to go a step further, you can actually mix up all the toners, not all the toners, but I actually will do an amber, I will do an amethyst, I do a lapis, which is blue, and then I do a jade, which is green. So you can have these toners in your kit too, just in case you have to perfect the color a little bit. You know, maybe they have like a lot of redness, and you can just actually throw a little jade in there to help, you know, color correct the skin. So we're not going to get into color theory too much, but I just wanted to kind of, you know, to say that. Okay, so now once we've got our liquid formula mixed up, we're actually going to take one of these bottles, and what I do is I mix one part of this formula with one part of our base, and you put it in here. So I'll just take like a teaspoon, and first I'll measure like a teaspoon of the powder, and I'll use a funnel and I'll put it in here, and then I'll Make sure you shake this up. I mixed a teaspoon of this, put it in the bottle, put the little thing back on, and just shake it up really good. You can actually buy little beads you can put in here, just like you would get, so you can hear it, just like you would get in, like I've got some prepackaged ones from a different company. They have those in there when you shake it, just to make sure everything is mixed up. So once you have that mixed up, you can go ahead and airbrush. So I actually make a custom primer. That's a whole, again, another episode. I have a custom primer that I make. I have one for dry skin and I have one for oily skin. Again, I've tested it over the years and I love it because those that have oily skin, when I use it on them, their makeup, again, it looks amazing throughout the day of their wedding and I don't have to worry about them. So that is actually, I think it's going to be in the recipe book. So again, there's like, we can make anything, you guys. We can make absolutely anything we want with this product. And I love it. My clients love it. In fact, tomorrow night, I am doing an event by a customer's house where they're going to make custom lip creams. And I think we're going to do eyeshadows. So they're going to all mix their own and they get to, you know, create their own formula. It's fun. I absolutely have fun with it and people like to mix things. Okay, so once you have that, you can actually get an airbrush gun. So I'm assuming, like, are all of you doing airbrush yet? I'm sure some of you maybe are, some of you aren't. Do you guys want me to get into like what I use for tools, or I'm not sure what you guys all want to know. But I actually just have a smaller Denier airbrush gun. I like this one because most of the things that I do now at this point are on location, so it's really easy to travel with. I can just stick it in my kit. It's not this big compressor. And I've had it for, ever since I started airbrushing, it's holding up just fine. I've never had an issue with this, with my airbrush system. Now, is it going to last as long as like, you know, a bigger compressor type one? Probably not, but it's very affordable to get. Yeah, the tools. So yeah, it's very, and you can get different colors, you know, in that. So when I originally got this, this was before I was mixing my own airbrush formulas, and I got like some of these like bases or whatever that you get with it. So they do have like that, but I'm telling you, like, I'll put this on one side and then I'll do my custom formula on the other side, and hands down, I always like where I do my custom formula better. I just like the finish. Okay, so that's what I use. Now, if you're going to be airbrushing more like in your studio or in your salon, they have, you can pay a little bit more and get like a separate compressor. I think it's by, I don't know how you say it, it's IWATA or IWATA. Iwata. They make like compressors and airbrush guns, like really more used for like airbrushing actual paint, but they're more durable, but they're going to be like more powerful, but they're a little bit larger, they're a little bit louder. It's a little bit more to carry around. So there are different options out there. Just kind of shop around and see what you like. Okay, so that's what I use. So I'm going to just airbrush a little bit of my face so you guys can see. Now, like I said, I don't like airbrush myself very often, so this is, you know, kind of odd or whatever. So for me, I'm going to use mostly light, and I'm going to go ahead and put that in. And then I'm going to put a little bit of medium in. Right now, I'm like really light because it's been winter. I live in Wisconsin, and I think I said that earlier, but it's been extremely winter for a long time. In fact, today it's really cold again. So I have not seen the sunlight other than Miami. All right, so I have I put it in the well. There's other airbrush guns out there where you need certain pods to put on there. Don't get that. You need something with an open well. And now, if you haven't airbrushed before, there are classes you can take online. There's classes you can take in person. I actually offer a class if there's enough people that want to do it. But honestly, it's really not. If you guys are already professional makeup artists, you can do it. Okay. So I'm going to back up my my gun just to make sure it's all mixed, which is what they teach you when you learn it. I guess not for sure. Okay, this is gonna be weird. So I'm actually gonna just start underneath the eye. I feel like I can't talk when I do this. It's really fast once you do it. And you know what else is nice is it's very relaxing for the bride. It's kind of like just a light, soft air. I don't want to like go over my eyes or my lips because I did those already. I had a client this morning. What PSI? I actually don't have PSI on here. I just go about halfway. So on the denier, there's no numbers or anything. So I go about halfway. Just, it's really preference as far as how much you want spraying out. It also depends like how close you are getting to the skin. I've got a lot of scarring on my face, so like if there's something I want to cover, you just get a little bit closer and just do that, and it just kind of erases it. So I feel better now that I have makeup on. See, the airbrushing part is not, like I would do this every morning, but like I said, I don't want to clean it. If I had somebody cleaning it for me, then I would totally do it. Okay, so I'm just doing my foundation a little bit so you can see. And it just, I wish you guys could see it. What maybe I'll do is if I can find a model, everybody's working right now, so I couldn't find a model today, but if I can have find a model, I can do maybe half the face with airbrush and half with nothing. Do a little more here. Looks totally different in my mirror than it does on the camera. How many drops? I usually just fill it up about 3/4 of the way, and that's about enough to do their whole entire face. And then I have like some bronzers mixed up. I've mixed up some blushes as well. Same thing, just use like, you know, you could use rose quartz and mix with like some of your bases and things like that, and then just mix it with your airbrush mix like you would normal. So I've got a blush right here, it's not mixed up, and I've got more of a pinky blush here, so you can make blushes. And then my bronzer is, oh, here's my bronzer. My bronzer's right here. You can make, you know, all different colors if you'd like. I just usually kind of mix it all together, and then you can do a little bit of contouring with like the darker powder. So I usually just do the foundation, and I do the blush and the contouring, and then I usually do the eyes prior with, I use brushes because again, I feel like you can't like blend and get the kind of soft look that you want. You can do eyebrows if you'd like. They make like little stencils. I think these came with my kit when I bought it. So you can go ahead and you can do eyebrows if you want. I like to do all of that just with my brushes. Again, it comes down to preference. Okay, so yeah, just to recap, when you have this bottle, let me go to the marks. You do up to the first mark you do with 10 years younger, up to the second mark you do with glycerin, so it's 1 part each of those, and then do 2 marks of the distilled water. Okay, and then I mix this with my powder bases, and I do about half this with half the powder. Now if you're using our liquid mineral system, I don't mix it with this. I actually just mix the liquid, so the liquid from their blend, with 10 years younger spray, half and half. So a teaspoon of 10 years younger spray with a teaspoon of their liquid formula. So because it's already liquid, it's already mixed with like things in it. Hi Miranda, how are you? Oh, thank you, you're so sweet. I think I'm gonna see you tomorrow night. we're gonna be mixing some things tomorrow night. So yeah, so like I said, play around with it. Because I do mostly brides that are going to be photographed. I personally like to use the powder because I like the finish that it gives. The liquid just is more of a kind of a dewy look. So if you like that look, that's great too. And then when I'm all done, I'm actually going to spray them 3 times with our setting spray. If they have normal to dry skin, I'm going to use the 10 years younger. If they have oily skin, I'm going to use the No More Shine spray, and that is going to pretty much make it water resistant at that point. Now, if a bride starts like wailing and crying with like tears, like, I mean, that's never good. I don't care what makeup you use, that is never good. So teach them how to cry. I know some of my colleagues have actually done videos on this lately. Jacqueline, she actually did a video on how to teach your brides how to cry. And I will tell my brides, like, if you feel like you are going to cry, make sure that somebody has like tissues handy. Like your bride, you know, one of your bridesmaids, your maid of honor, whoever it is. And what you want to do is you want to wrap it around your finger, and you just want to like go like this to catch the tears so that it doesn't like start running down the face. If you catch it before it runs, you're good. And I've never had an issue with a bride saying that their makeup was trashed. I mean, almost all of them are like, oh my gosh, you weren't kidding. It stayed, it looked nice. This is breathable. It's not silicone, plasticky looking like other things I've used. It's comfortable. Because where I live, like a lot of people don't wear a ton of makeup here, so everyone wants to look very natural, very flawless. So they love this because it still feels good. I think everyone's kind of misconception of having their makeup done is that it's going to feel uncomfortable, it's going to feel unnatural, it's going to feel caked on. This does not feel that way. I would say that there probably are some products that do. So yeah, teach them how to cry. And then my friend Nikki, who I work with, she's a makeup artist in Chicago. She actually did a video because she kind of had one of those days where she was upset, and she showed people how to like fix their custom blend makeup. If you do have, you know, tears running down. But for a bride, I wouldn't even get to that point. Like, you got to be prepared for that. My wedding, my husband cried really hard, so I had to really hold it together when I was coming down the aisle. But even I didn't like have, you know, now I didn't even have this makeup then. But yeah, so teach them how to cry. As far as like the whole like custom blend concept, if somebody invited you to watch this video, please talk to them about what Custom Blend can do for your business, whether you're a makeup artist, freelance, or a salon. We are an exclusive line. We are not found in stores, and we are not a multi-level company either. So you are allowed to carry in a salon, and it can, like I said, it can really change your business. So that's what I mainly do now. I'm a national educator. I travel around and work with, you know, people that I want to work with as far as teaching them what I know. And so yeah, so I wanted to do this video just to kind of share what I do. I hope I covered everything that you guys wanted to know. It's a lot easier than I think people think as far as how to mix. Like I said, I mix half the powder with, you know, half of this formula, but you might want to do like more of the liquid, less of the powder, or vice versa, just to find what you like. That's the fun thing about Custom Blend, is you can do whatever you want, and there's no like right or wrong way, which is probably why I like it too, because I'm an artist. I don't want to like stick to the rules and do like, you have to do it this way. No, I want to be able to like make what I want and control it. So yeah, and then once you, like I said, you set it, and it's going to last, and they're going to love it, and you can make them up a custom blend later if they didn't have one prior to their wedding. And all my custom blend clients, in fact, Miranda's on here, you are one of my custom blend clients. They all absolutely love custom blend. I had someone here today. She has very sensitive skin, has to be very careful with what she uses. It felt great on her skin. it's healthy for the skin. So, you know, if you haven't tried Custom Blend, you have to try it because it's amazing. And now that we have the other additives, we can even create so much more. We have a soothing additive for sensitive skin. We have some new anti-aging, like a copper peptides, because if you know anything about skincare right now, peptides are huge. So I'm thrilled with that. We have a new HD powder. We have a new primer that we can put in with the liquid, which is more for oily skin, which is what I have. So I love that too. And we've got like a rose gold frost, we have a garnet, we have copper frost, we have a diamond dust for the powder. We've got some really, really amazing things, and it's all just great for the skin. So if there's anything else you guys want to know, please go ahead and type your question in the comments and I will answer it. If there's any more videos you want me to do, let me know, because I'm more than happy to share with you. Do you need to set it with the powder? So, you know, I usually do set it a little bit with like a translucent powder. I don't know if I necessarily always do though. It depends on their skin type, because it kind of dries more of like a powdery finish. Like, I don't know if you guys can see, but it's like a very matte finish because it's the powders in there. So, you know, I usually do want to do a little bit under their eyes with the translucent powder. And you can lightly dust it with just a translucent powder to set, to be sure, before you do the setting spray. And then if if they have like huge under eye circles, which I kind of do in this light. When I look here, I don't. When I look in here, I do. You can do the concealer and everything before you do the airbrush, but a lot of times I'll just airbrush, you know, the little areas, just get a little bit closer, get more concentration there. No, if they want fuller coverage, you can just keep layering it because it's a buildable coverage. So no, I don't put anything else in there. Just go over those spots a little bit more. You won't get hot spots. Like, if any of you airbrush already with the other, you know, prepackaged stuff you can buy, you have to be really careful not to get too close or not to put too much on, because you can get like what they call is like a hot spot, or just like where you can like see it on the skin and it gets wet and just never, it's like once you do that, you're like, oh, how do I fix this? You don't get that with this because it's very forgiving, it's very natural, and it kind of like dries. So yeah, just get a little bit closer and just kind of layer it, you know, layer it over the skin, and you can get more coverage that way. And it never looks like it's caked on or there's a lot on there. What do I mix for my custom primer? There's quite a recipe. It involves pearl. It involves the, well, for the dry skin, I use the hydrator in it. And then I use Fringe Benefit. Mixed with the Beauty Balm that we have now. That's another new additive. What else do I have in there? I'm going to have to actually get that recipe. But I believe it's going to be in the recipe book that's coming out, because I think I did hand that in for that, or saw it. And then for the oily skin, I put the oil control in. And now that we have the new Perfection primer, like for an additive for our liquid blend, I'm going to be making a primer with that now, because we just got that. So I didn't have that yet. But yeah, that's an amazing, amazing product. So I love using that primer because for oily skin, again, if you put that oil control in there, it's just going to help that oil not produce in the skin throughout the day as much. And I even had a bride, it was like, because now in Wisconsin in the summer, we get like humid. Like, it was July, it was like the first weekend in July, and it was like 100 degrees out. Like, humidity was like, I don't know, 95% or whatever it was. And I had to do this bride's makeup at like 8 in the morning. And I mean, it was like, everyone was like dripping. They're like, oh, it's so humid and hot and uncomfortable. And she was like, are you sure this is gonna last? And I'm like, yeah. And again, she like contacted me like a couple days later, whatever it was, and she was like, oh my gosh, you weren't kidding. It was absolutely amazing. I didn't have to worry about my makeup, and it absolutely was, it was flawless and beautiful all day. So but I set her a lot with the setting spray. Like, you cannot put too much of the setting spray on because it's gonna just seal. Yeah, a live demo for the primer. I will definitely do that. That can be kind of my next thing. I can definitely do that. Because I want to mix one up with the new Perfection product that we have. Especially, like I said, because I have oily skin, because I will use it on myself. But yeah, so when in doubt, and you guys, like the setting spray too, if you're a client, you can spray that setting spray throughout the day. So like if you've got dry skin, grab the 10 Years Younger. And if your skin kind of gets like tight, or if you're hot, like if it's humid, July in Wisconsin and 95% humidity, just spray that on your face throughout the day. It's just gonna like hydrate the skin a little bit. It is going to like just bring the temperature down in the skin. So you can't use too much of it. It's amazing. And the other thing I wanted to say is I've never used any other products to do this. So I use strictly Modus to do this. I don't know of any other product that is pure minerals that you can do this with. So don't go just trying to mix like bare minerals, because they do put, actually, they have the bismuth oxychloride in it. They have other things in it. So I use these products because I know that I can do this. You can't do this with just any other powder or any other, because we have this here. I know what's in it, like I said. So, you know, don't like just use whatever powder like you have it and try to mix it, because it's not going to dissolve, because it's not pure. Most things they put talc and other additives to kind of fluff it up and make it cheaper. This is pure. So like when you see, let me just show you, when you see amethyst, this is a purple toner. This is amethyst ground up, micropulverized into tiny little pieces. So when you look at it, it is pure minerals ground up. So you can't just take anything else and do this. So I just wanted to make myself clear on that. That's why if you guys are interested in learning more about Custom Blend, you know, whoever shared this, definitely talk with them so they can, you know, tell you a little bit more about it. Or me, if you just came across this video or whatever it is, because it's amazing and it's awesome. So, all right, ladies, I don't think we have any guys on here. Thanks for joining me, and let me know if there's anything else that I did not answer that you want to know. All right, bye. Have a great day.